Sutherland Springs church shooting slideshow by photo service soon after Kathleen Curnow called 911 on Sunday morning to report the sound of gunfire at the church across from her house in Sutherland Springs, Texas. Her husband went over to investigate amid the gathering first responders. "I kept waiting for people to come out, but no one was coming out. My husband went to the doors of the church. He's a strong man. But he said, what I saw I was not prepared for," she tells People. And then from inside the First Baptist Church, the site of what would become the deadliest mass shooting in modern Texas history, came an 8-year-old girl, brought out by authorities. Curnow, 43, says the child was covered in blood and human flesh, with a bruise on her forehead. Curnow tended to her as the details of the rampage became more apparent. "We kept her on the porch because she was nodding her head and I didn't want to take her inside and not be able to get her out," Curnow says. She continued, "She lost everybody but her stepfather. He came out and he was very stunned and dazed. He saw her and there is a sigh of relief. Her aunt was one of the ones coming late to church. We were able to get them together. I told them to stay as long as they want. After that, there were not a lot of people walking out. I was very thankful to learn that many of the people actually escaped from the side or the back. They got to safety at a convenience store close by. If they had stayed, I guarantee they wouldn't have made it." As authorities later detailed, a gunman in all-black tactical gear and armed with an assault rifle began shooting on First Baptist from outside, shortly before 11:30 a.m. Sunday during a worship service, before walking into the church and continuing to fire. At least 26 people were killed and 20 more injured. Want to keep up with the latest crime coverage? Click here to get breaking crime news, ongoing trial coverage and details of intriguing unsolved cases in the True Crime newsletter. Law enforcement officers gather in front of the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs, Texas, after a fatal shooting on Sunday. The shooter, identified as 26-year-old former Air Force member Devin Kelly, fled the scene after exchanging gunfire with a local resident outside the church. He died from a gunshot in a neighboring county, though it's unclear how he received his wound. No victims' names have been confirmed or released as authorities continue to work the crime scene. Wilson County, Texas. Sheriff Joe D. Tackett said during a Sunday afternoon news conference, children were among the victims, who ranged in ages from 5 to 72. According to authorities, People's Special Edition True Crime Stories, 35 real cases that inspired the show Law & Order is on sale now. That morning, as Curnow was with a young girl on her porch before her relatives also re-emerged, she says she offered her aid and comfort. "We were in the shade. I got her apple juice. I was trying to clean her up." Curnow says, "I asked her, 'Sweetie, what's your name? Where do you go to school? Do you have brothers and sisters? Do you live close to here? Do you remember any phone numbers?' I told her, 'You're very, very brave.